My history in education goes back about 14 years. I started as a third grade elementary school teacher. I taught middle school science for a number of years before I left to pursue my doctoral residency at SUNY UB. In spring of 2011, my family and I, we packed up and left cold Buffalo, New York to come to DCPS. I led MC Terrell Elementary School in Ward 8 for 2 years before that school closed. I wanted to remain in Ward 8. And so when Leckie was available, I paneled for it, and the community thought I was a good fit for here. And so this will be my second year leading Leckie Elementary School. The vision I have for Leckie Elementary School is almost romantic. I think that school should be fun. It should be almost like Disney for kids, where they want to come to school and we cloak learning in that fun. And we'll be able to show that that fun meant something in the student's achievement. Yes, at Leckie Elementary School, in both math and reading, we're well above 50%. One of the things that Leckie has to boast is that among those math scores in 2014, Leckie was one to double their advanced performance in math. We're especially proud of that. And additionally, with the My Brother's Keeper initiative launched, they looked into scores that were systemically and sustainably closing the achievement gap for young men of color. And Leckie is among a short list of schools who have demonstrated sustained growth and achievement for young men of color for at least 3 years. I am personally responsible for the academic achievement of all of my students. And when I think about that responsibility, I own it wholeheartedly. I hold parents accountable, I hold the teachers accountable, and I hold myself accountable to making sure that kids can maximize their full potential down the road. Whatever it is for them, they need to be able to access it, and they need to be able to have the academic skills necessary to tackle their dreams. The academic expectations of the students are pretty high. I expect the students to be a partner in learning. I expect for them to use their agenda nightly. I expect for them to comply with teachers' requests to complete homework. I expect for them to come before school or after school when they don't understand to receive extra help. And I expect for them to care about their learning as much as I care about making sure there's a qualified, competent, caring instructor in front of them. I believe that hard work causes student intelligence. Nothing beats talent more than hard work. You're not naturally inclined to be readers. You're not naturally born being good in math. It takes hard work, it takes diligence, it takes persistence. And so grooming students to know that studying is just like exercise for the brain, and that the more we do it, the stronger we become. And that's what hard work is. I keep track of how the students are doing academically throughout the year through our academic team meetings, which occur once a week. I meet with each academic grade level once per week, where we review the previous week's skill taught, what was tested, and the outcome of that assessment. Based on the short cycle assessments, we determine who's high flying, who's soaring, and that is celebrated. But what we also do is pretty ruthlessly look at the skills and deficits that need to be retaught. We retool, we replan, we reteach, and we retest. We keep our scope and sequence posted to keep us on track academically. We utilize all of our metrics to make sure that we're on track in terms of progress, and we use that information to plan accordingly. The behavior expectations for our Leckie scholars are pretty high. We utilize a positive behavior intervention and support here at Leckie Elementary School, and our scholars are shining stars. We expect for them to be respectful, to be responsible, to be prepared, and to always give their best. And we have a dean of students here who helps to support those behaviors. We make sure that students have an opportunity to practice what we expect to see of them, and we utilize explicit instruction to make sure that they know what's expected of them. We also really celebrate what's going well for the students. We have big events. Each student here belongs to one of four houses, and those houses want to represent well. And so in the cafeteria, you'll hear them chanting with their house name. You'll see them with a bracelet representing which house they belong to. And their pride is what drives them to really behave and to be the best Leckie Lion that they can be. I enforce rules on a continuum of rewards. And so there are positive rewards and there are consequences. And students are very much made aware early in the year that consequences that are positive, they typically feel good and we're happy to reinforce them. But we also make sure that the students understand that there are consequences when we make poor decisions. And everybody makes poor decisions. Who doesn't? But what we help the students to understand is that the more right decisions you make, the less likely you are to be off task and more opportunity for you to become a strong scholar. And so having conversations and revisiting expectations is key. We reward good behavior at Leckie in a multitude of ways. And so there's not a school, I think, that would be able to say they celebrate good behavior as good as we do here at Leckie Elementary School. Be it music played over the announcements on Friday, house celebrations, dances with DJs, Spirit Week, where students have choice and input on what happens that week, our school store facilitated by the kids with the items that the kids want, and opportunities to eat lunch with their favorite teacher, to have lunch with the principal, to eat out on the lawn. And so positive behavior is so celebrated here. I believe the professional development of teachers is a shared responsibility. I work hard with my instructional leadership team to ensure quality among every classroom, whether you're a brand new teacher or a veteran teacher, making sure that the practices we believe will give us the highest academic outcome for children is deployed every single day in an excellent way. When I say shared, I also hold teachers accountable for their personal development. It's only when they reflect on what worked really well and what they need to improve on will they be able to move their practice. And so while I ensure that quality, that's on the outside. The stuff that makes the good teachers what they are, that relies on their personal reflection. And I try to encourage and facilitate the teachers' personal reflection of their practice. When I fill teacher vacancies, I look for teachers who have experience. I look for teachers who are interested in working in an urban environment. And when we talk, I want to know that their heart is into it as much as their resume might say that they're qualified for it. And so in many cases, we ask the teachers to come in and audition. We want to see how they interact with kids. We want to hear what their voice is with the kids. We want to see if they're a good fit for what we know to be the best for our scholars here. I hold teachers accountable with a few different metrics. And so in the District of Columbia, we use impact. Impact has many different options for teachers showing their success. And so success necessarily just isn't academic, but it's also what you do outside of the classroom that counts. And so each year, teachers set academic end-of-year goals, and we work really hard to make sure that all of our efforts, all of our planning, all of our retooling goes to meeting those academic efforts. In addition to what happens in the classroom, we know that part of this is about relationships. And so making sure that teachers are supporting our school community, that they're having opportunities for parents to come in and communicate with them. They're staying before school, they're staying after school. All that adds up into how we evaluate teachers in the District of Columbia. I engage parents at Leckie around their child's education personally. I let parents know I accept your child as if they were my own and that I want what's best for their child. I make sure that they're aware of all of our school initiatives right up front so that they don't miss a beat. I make sure that they understand what our end of year targets are so they can get in and be supportive no matter if they're coming in from the military mid-year or at the end of the year. I make sure that parents understand and know that they always have a place here, be it volunteering in our classroom, joining our parent-teacher association, or just helping out with the bake sale on Thursdays. I want them to know that they're invited and they're welcome partners here at Leckie Elementary School. I'm available to talk to parents almost 24 hours a day. I respond to emails within 24 hours. Parents have my phone number to text. We have a website that we're very responsive in our response. Every teacher also has an email that they can be reached on, and all that's public information. And if all else fails, the good old-fashioned phone is available. And so when parents call the school, I'm responsive within 24 hours.